There are times in our lives that we stumble on the path, but the Lord always catches us before we fall. William Lee Golden is one of the most recognized personalities in country and gospel music, having earned the highest accolades as a member of the legendary group, the Oak Ridge Boys. With over 40 million records sold, the Oaks have had dozens of #1 singles, over 30 top 10 hits, 5 Grammy Awards, 4 Country Music Awards, and the list goes on and on. They've been inducted into the Grand Ole Opry, the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, and the Country Music Hall of Fame. But during his 40s, William went through profound changes, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, when he felt his 4 walls closing in. This is his story. This is today's Nashville. This is Faith, Part 1. William Lee Golden. You know, never in my wildest dreams would I ever think I'd be sitting here talking to you. I have to tell you, before we even start, that you and the Oak Ridge Boys are the reason why I love country music.
Really?
It is. I am so honored, and what a place you have here. Thank you so much for inviting me into your beautiful home.
It's an old home. It's older than I am. This was built in 1786 by a Revolutionary War Colonel James Franklin, and he was part of the Revolutionary War. But anyhow, it was after the Revolutionary War. He built this in 1786. He was awarded a section of land, which a section of land is 640 acres. So that's what he was awarded here for his service in the Revolutionary War. And he built this old place and raised a bunch of kids here. And then later on, he was buried out back here and it's right across our fence over there, but around some other homes now. But yeah, it was an old place, and I love it out here. It's got a nice creek out here, and we got 7-acre yards, so it's enough to get out and throw the ball or chase the dog or whatever.
I want to hear everything about it, but the first question I have to ask you, and I know everybody asks you about this, is the beard.
Oh.
It's the beard.
Yeah, about when I lost my razor.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that was back, actually, it was about the same time that I bought this place. It was in 1980. I bought this place on my dad's birthday. It was July the 18th. And I signed the papers. I wanted it to be on his birthday because it felt like home to me. And I grew up on a big cotton and peanut farm down in South Alabama, Northwest Florida. And my dad was a big farmer. And so growing up in a rural atmosphere, you know, primitive in my younger years, I remember all that. But yeah, it was a great experience for me, and music was always a part of our home. My sister was 2 or 3 years older than me, and she played instruments and taught me how to play, and I learned how to play guitar and sing harmonies when I was 7 years old. And we'd play and sing as little kids and sing on Granddaddy's radio show. And from there, we'd sing in every little schoolhouse and church around South Alabama and Northwest Florida.
You know, I read your autobiography that just came out. I couldn't put it down. It was just an incredible story. And it talks about your sister and your family and when you started your music career. Let's talk about that.
Like I said, when we were little kids is when I learned to play and sing. When I was real little, you know, my dad would be gone in the daytime 5 or 6 days a week. He worked at the shipyard in Mobile. It was beginning of the Second World War, and that was happening during when I was a baby. But yeah, my mother took on the farm. She took care of us kids and taught my sister how to play instruments, piano, guitar and mandolin. My sister loved playing mandolin, and I'd play rhythm guitar. And so as little kids, we learned to play instruments and sing songs and to sing harmonies. So we'd sing old gospel songs, old country songs, gospel songs that like I Saw the Light, songs that Hank Williams and Roy Acuff, you know, these old country singers, a lot of them sang gospel music too. But we'd sing Roy Acuff's song, The Great Speckled Bird, and songs by Kitty Wells, Louvin Brothers songs. But yeah, as little kids, we'd play those songs, and great memories for me. But that led on, and then in high school is when I first started singing in quartets. I sang in the FFA quartet in high school, and from there, after high school, we competed with other schools, you know, singing or either playing bands, you know. Either your FFA chapter, Future Farmers of America kids they would nurture your talents, whether it was playing instruments or singing, and they would nurture that. And so we had FFA quartet competition and also band competition with musicians.
Well, you know, everyone who thinks about the Oak Ridge Boys, they thought, you know, when I think of the Oak Ridge Boys, I think of your band. But it started before you.
Yeah.
And it was your dream to be an Oak, right?
Right. When I was singing part-time, you know, in high school, it was in high school when I first heard about the Oak Ridge Boys, and it was one of the guys I was singing an FFA quartet with was the one that brought one of their albums, and then I had to go get the album, and it was 2 albums that really turned me on to the Oak Ridge Boys then. Was called Folk-Minded Spirituals for Spiritual-Minded Folk. And then the other one was the Oak Ridge Boys with Sounds of Nashville. Both of those albums were on Warner Brother Records back at that time. To me, those albums put them in a league that was a little different than what I considered a lot of the older gospel quartets and singers at that time. They were young guys and had a whole new flair about singing and playing music, and it resonated with me. I loved it.
Well, we're going to talk about the Oak Ridge Boys because your dream became a reality, and we're going to talk about how you even auditioned, came to Nashville, became an Oak Ridge boy. We're going to talk about it in just a minute.